here we go. Welcome to the Ronline report. Got someone today a lot of you have been asking to see and hear more from. This is pro debut happening Saturday for this guy, Regan from London, Ontario, Canada. Just turned 24 years old yesterday, believe it or not. That's all he is, 24. Welcome, Regan. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Not to be confused with, I don't know if you can see it, Regan from The Exorcist. Totally different. Anyway, yeah, so interesting story. You have a different background than most of the bodybuilders that we talk to. A lot of the athletes come to bodybuilding from sports like football, wrestling. A lot of them were just small, undernourished looking people like myself who wanted to get bigger. But you were actually top motocross racer in Canada for your entire teenage years from age 10 to 18. Is that right?
Yeah, I did motocross racing. It was a lot of fun. It was expensive, very dangerous. I think the reason I got out of it was because the amount of injuries. All my injuries came from motocross. Yeah. I ruptured my spleen. I broke my arm, broke my ankle. Yeah. So all my injuries have been from that. Thankfully, none of them have affected my bodybuilding career this far, so we're good.
Right.
And this in the past, so.
So, you were inspired by another fellow Canadian, Antoine Vaillant. So,
yeah.
What was it about Antoine? Because most guys look at Arnold or somebody like that. What was it about him that sparked your interest in bodybuilding?
I think because his physique, as I was coming up, like 17, 18, getting myself in the gym, he was an inspiration to me because I could relate to him, and I think because he had a physique that I thought I could achieve. Yeah. Like for me to look at Phil Heath, like I don't have his body type, so I mean that's maybe not something that inspires me so much because I can't look like that. Right. Whereas this one kind of had a physique where bigger shoulders. His weak points were chest, mine's chest. So yeah, there's just relatable things there. And his goofy character and his YouTube videos were always fun for me. So, yeah.
And you actually became friends with Antoine, is that right?
Yeah, we're pretty good friends. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we trained a few times here and there. We see each other at events, and yeah.
Okay. Your road to the pro ranks was pretty fast. I mean, you were still 22 when you turned pro. Is that right?
Yeah, 22 years old. Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting because we talked about this a few weeks ago for the print magazine. So you did the Arnold Amateur in Ohio last year, 2016. Took second place in the super heavies to the guy who ended up winning the overall, a Russian gentleman named Sergey Kulev.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, big, huge.
I would imagine. Yeah, they're growing big over there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you came very close, and most guys would have packed it up and said, "Oh well," but you did not. You decided you were going to keep going. And
yeah, I really wanted to keep going. It's great that they had that opportunity. The Arnolds had another one after it because I mean, like you said, it was so close. Second place. It was very difficult to get. I had to get a visa to get into Brazil.
Yeah.
Everything happened last minute. It was going to take like 2 months to get the visas. And, there was only 3 weeks in between the two shows.
Right.
So, I'm driving. I got to drive 2 hours to Toronto. I'm in London, Ontario. We're driving back and forth. I'm on peak week picking up the visas. Like, it was just hectic, but it all worked out and paid off. So
that had to be stressful. I mean, doing a show in itself is stressful. You had all that to worry about, too.
Yeah. There was tons of things that came up. But it's all about, I wanted it so bad. So, I just persevered and got around those things. So
it's interesting. I don't think a lot of the Americans appreciate how difficult it is to turn pro in other countries, even a country so close to us geographically as Canada. I think you guys only give out still 1 or 2 pro cards for the whole year for bodybuilding.
Yeah, one pro card a year in Canada. Yeah, and then there's also I was told in the States, right? There's 2 levels. So what's the first level of shows?
See, we're not that organized.
Okay.
There's a couple states like Florida that break it down, but for the most part, in the U.S., you could theoretically, and it's been done a few times, do one show. Your first show could be a national qualifier, and then like the next weekend could be the Nationals or the USA or the North American, And
take it.
You could get your pro card, boom, just like that. It's happened.
Wow. Yeah, because in Canada, well, Ontario, where we are, you have a level 1 show. It's called regionals, and then there's level 2 provincials, and then that gets you to qualify for the nationals, where you could win the 1 pro card of the year.
Yeah.
So it's very, very difficult. And in 2015, no, was it 15? I did the Canadian Nationals.
Yep.
And then I took the 7 months post and did the Arnold's right after it.
Yeah.
So 7 months later, I did the Arnold's, and actually at the Canadian Nationals, I got like 6th place.
Right.
But that's when I had just hired Chris Aceto as my coach.
Yeah.
And we started working together. We worked very hard those 7 months in between. Packed on 20 pounds of muscle and went into the Arnold's.
Wow, that's the way to do it. Just as a side note, before we leave the whole Canadian bodybuilding scene behind, I want to just say I give a lot of credit to the guys up there who have been struggling, and they persevere year after year. There's a guy named Ron Partlow who I followed just because his first name was Ron. Big dude.
Yeah.
15 years, 15 times at the Canadians, I think, before he turned pro. So you American, we have it so easy. I don't think we appreciate it.
Probably got 2nd place 10 times. Like right there, just.
Or won the supers and lost the overall a few times. Yeah, it's over and over and over again. But anyway, that's him. Let's talk about you. So here you are, Brazil. You got your pro card in hand. 22 years old. It's always it's got to feel like starting over. I mean, the thrill of winning your pro card is one thing, but now you must have sat down right after and go, now what do I do? So what was your next move?
It was overwhelming. It was actually took quite the hit, because it's like that was my dream, right? That's all I wanted. That's all I worked for, and then I got it. And then it's like you said, it's like starting over. It's like, geez, like to even compete against these guys, I got to take it to a whole other level. But yeah, basically just slowed it down, and just consistency, and just kept at my training. Nothing really changes. I've learned that just you got to do what you always did, and you just got to keep doing it, and eventually, over time, you make the gains and the results, but it doesn't happen overnight.
That's the thing is, we debate this all the time with especially the younger guys that turn pro and still need to make improvements in terms of mass, and you put on about 20 pounds since you turned pro, or a little more.
20. I think I put on. So I went on stage at the Arnold Brazil around 230. Yeah. So I was like 230s. Right now I'm floating around 242, 245. Okay. I think after carbing, I'm pretty depleted right now. Like after carbing up and dropping the water, I'll be around that same weight, 242. So
I mean, your proportions, you've kept that real small waist, whereas we see all the time guys who try to get big as fast as possible and they blow their midsections out. How have you? Is it in terms of nutrition, in terms of training? What have you done to make sure your waist stays nice and small?
You know what? I don't do like Chris says, don't do deadlifts. I've never been big into deadlifts. Some people say that grows your waist. Some people says it doesn't. Yeah. I stay away from them. I'll do rack pulls. I don't do a ton of compound movements. I do squats here and there, maybe every other week. In this prep, I've actually added those back. So I'm doing squats actually twice a week. But in the off season, I didn't do many squats at all. As far as keeping the waist tight, I always wear a belt. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say that makes your waist small, but it helps you control your stomach and breathe from your chest. Right. And then as anything else, really, I think it's genetic, and yeah, I don't know. We tell, I've written a million articles where I tell people you need to squat, you need to deadlift, but there's always exceptions to the rule. I mean, I know tons of guys who deadlift twice a week or whatever. They've been deadlifting for years, and they don't have a back like yours. The last couple shots you posted of your back are just nuts. It's nuts. Yeah. I think it's just, mind to muscle connection, and I don't think you need to do a ton of weight. And you know what? Maybe there's a lot of people that think they do in order to grow, but they haven't given this type of training a try. Because they always think they have to train that way. I feel like the hypertrophy, like higher reps, controlled weight, has helped me have more of a 3D looking physique, like to my shoulders and other body parts.
Yeah.
Because I don't train super heavy. If anyone has seen my videos, but I will go as heavy as I can with keeping the form right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as far as do you have a plan as far as you try to keep? I don't think you're trying to get as big as possible, as fast as possible, or else you would do all these things. Do you have a plan where you're going to do it gradually, and because you're still young in the sport. Haven't even done your first pro show yet. So, do you have that in mind that you want to do this nice and gradually and keep all those lines, keep those proportions?
Yeah, that's definitely my goal. I never want to lose my lines. I think trying to grow too big too fast would just not be worth it, and would definitely hinder my career moving forward.
Yeah.
As for growing and getting bigger, I tend to do a lot of my growing actually in the prep itself.
Wow.
So the off season for me is more it's called off season, but it's like more maintaining, staying healthy, and then when we do it, kind of like Kevin LeBron style. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is rare these days.
Yeah. That's what I prefer. I can stay healthy all year, and then we do we do contest prep. But what I would like to do now as a professional, I'm going to be choosing more shows. So when I turned pro, I hadn't competed. I turned pro. I was 22. I'm now doing my first pro show. It's maybe 14 to 16 months later.
Yeah.
It's too long for me. I don't like taking that long of a break. After this show, I'm going to choose a show about 7 months away, 7 to 8 months.
Okay.
So basically, my goal is to do this season, take a nice 1 month break, give the body a break, and then go back into contest prep basically for about 6 months, and see what else we can pack on.
Trying to think time-wise, where would that put you? Would that be like maybe the Arnold Classic or something next year?
Yeah, so I won my pro card in Brazil, and I know Australia is very close to it, and I'd like to do those 2 shows.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a great choice.
I'd love to travel.
I could see you in Columbus too, but those are.
We'll see.
Yeah, you never know. Why not do them all if you could, right?
Yeah, for sure. An art run would be really, really cool. I think the experience alone would be worth it. Yeah, no matter what the placing is. But obviously, I always try to do my best and see what we can do.
It's amusing to me that whenever somebody like yourself has a small waist in good shape, they say, "Well, you should do classic physique."
I know. I get it all the time. You know what? I still get. Are you in physique?
Yeah.
Even. Yeah. I remember when I was at the Arnold, Ohio, I was walking around booth to booth, and I'd be talking to a vendor or whatever about the product, and they'd be like, "Oh, are you competing this weekend?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm competing there." They're like, "Oh, you're doing physique?" I'm like, "No, I'm actually super heavyweight bodybuilder."
Yeah.
But it's it is what it is, and I don't know. Yeah.
And you'd have to be at 6 foot. Your max weight cutoff for classic is 217. Is that right?
Yeah.
217. So that's 25 pounds of muscle less than what you have right now.
Yeah. Now you know what I've heard of some people. I've heard they don't have a specific height and weight. Like some people have gone to a show and they got 6.03, and then they can be 225. And then sometimes they'll be under 6 feet, and they can only be 217. I've heard of a couple pros that's happening to.
Yeah.
Whereas if they weighed me in and I could be 225 pounds,
yeah,
it's still a stretch.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like getting bigger. That's why I got into the sport, to improve. And for me to go back and lose muscle, it's just doesn't sound appealing to me.
You're growing. You're going to be growing for the next. Theoretically, I'm going to say next 5, 6, 7 years before you probably have all the size you want, and then it's all about refining it. So this 245, 242, whatever that you are today, that's now. Next year you'll probably be 250. Next year after that, maybe close to 260. Wherever you end up at. But
I think I've been roughly, if I count it right, since 18, I've done 15 pounds of muscle a year on average. So if I can keep that for another 2 or 3 years, that would be. I think it might get a little bit small. Like 15 is a lot. Like if I did 10, just because I want to keep that quality and I want to blow out the waist. Right. 10 pounds a year would be fantastic.
Right. Well, that's 10 pounds of quality muscle a year. That's phenomenal. I don't know what people are thinking if they think that's not impressive. Come on now. Yeah. But I think the classic thing comes from there's like an expectation now that open bodybuilding, most guys don't have good shape and they don't have small waist, so they see someone like you and they immediately just jump to the conclusion that you should be classic physique.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm really interested this weekend. I'm really excited to see how they judge me against these other guys. I think I'm just excited. I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah. No, obviously we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we're hoping for the best, of course.
Yes.
Now, why did you not do the Toronto Pro that was a few weeks ago? Since that would have been a 2-hour drive for you.
You know what? I would have loved to do the Toronto Pro. Unfortunately, at that time when we were about 12 weeks out, Mark, I own a gym. I don't know if you might know that.
Yeah, I want to definitely talk about that because that's an accomplishment.
Yeah. So it's Flex Muscle and Fitness, and I started that about 2 years ago. I had a partner, and about 10 to 12 weeks out from the show, he was no longer interested, and I ended up having to come to an agreement to buy him out. So there was so much going on with business and figuring that out that it just wasn't in the books to do Toronto this year.
Yeah.
In the future, I would love to do it on the home ground, like all my friends and family could come watch, and
sure,
that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the Toronto show, and I would say 60-70% of all the athletes in all the divisions were Canadian, and a good chunk of them were from Ontario, as you would expect.
Right.
And they all had tremendous cheering sections there. I'm sure they had their whole crew there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that for a second, because I'm pushing 50, and I have friends my age who've been talking about I'm going to start a clothing company. I'd like to own a gym, and they've been talking about this since we were your age, but they never did it. At age 18 years old, you started your own clothing company.
Yeah.
And by 21, you had a gym. Tell me how you started, how you got into that gym business.
The gym, it was, it was a lot of obstacles, obviously, like any other venture. You know what? I had a goal. I wanted the gym. I had a vision for the gym. I live in a city where there's no hardcore gyms. It's all corporate gyms. So I knew there was a market for it, and I knew it was a space that I wanted and needed. So creating that space was a no-brainer. So basically, it's like Flex Muscle and Fitness. It's hardcore. It's sports-based. So you can, if you're into other stuff like boxing. I even have CrossFit stuff in there. So I just cater to all different types of weightlifters that are serious. And then there's a lot of people that are just they're just there to lift weights as well.
Yeah.
But we definitely don't care if you drop weights or grunt or scream, whatever. We don't care. But yeah, it was a dream of mine to open a gym. And basically what I did was I searched and searched and searched for equipment. Like I didn't buy. You could go out and buy 10 treadmills and spend $100,000. Like you could buy brand new treadmills for $100,000.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that. I went out and I bought used. I found gyms that went out of business. I did a lot of the labor myself. I actually bought used pieces of equipment and I spray painted it all myself. And with friends too. I had a lot of help from friends and family. I couldn't have done it without them. And it was a really group effort with them and me, and we just made it happen. There was, like I said, there was a lot of obstacles, but I wasn't letting anything get in the way of opening it.
So the question, I've often wondered, a lot of us dream about opening a hardcore type of gym where people who are trained seriously are welcoming and have a good place to train. But I would worry, my concern would be, how am I going to compete with all these corporate places and the Planet Fitnesses that are like $10 a month and these cheesy chains. So have you been able to establish a good clientele and business there?
Yeah, we have our base. So the places, we're on year 2, going on year 3. We have our clientele. We you know, everything pays for itself. It's doing well. Now it's time to, you know, to expand into a few other things. We just got massage therapy, so we have somebody in there on at all times, so full-time massage therapy, you know, deep tissue massage, Graston. We got unlimited to get tanning beds, a shake bar, and I actually just put in a full supplement store. So we sell supplements right out of the gym. And yeah, so there was other avenues, you know, to pull in income for the gym, you know, to keep it going. But it's doing well now, and I'm excited for the future. You know, I just took it over myself about 2 months ago, right? So things are going really well.
Okay, cool. Now you're also a BPI athlete, and a fellow BPI athlete, a guy who's won the 4 Olympia titles, Jay Cutler. He's been speaking very, very highly of you. He's, you know, making predictions, and he feels you're going to be a superstar. How does it feel to have someone of that stature, not only as an athlete but in the industry? He's, you know, a great businessman as well. To have that kind of high opinion of you, it's a dream come true. I mean, it's like he's the guy that I looked up to the most, you know, because he wasn't just a superstar, you know, on stage, but also off the stage, business wise. And you know what? That's what I really like. I like, you know, how he's done that, and that's what I inspire to do as well, and hopefully, you know, motivate everybody else like he did. Yeah. Now you have a good following yourself. I mean, your YouTube videos, your Instagram, and that. You have, I think it was like 400,000 Instagram followers, something like that.
Yeah, we're about 305, and then, you know, with Facebook and YouTube, about 400,000 following. Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, a lot of these young guys, they don't really follow bodybuilders, but there's. Do you think you might be drawing some people into the sport that otherwise might have looked at bodybuilding and said, "Screw that! These guys look like, you know, mutants."
Yeah, yeah. No, I hope I am. That's really cool. Yeah, yeah.
So here we are. You're doing your first pro show in 5 days. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah.
4 days.
4 days. I mean, you look pretty chipper considering. But
the countdown is on. If I just want to let everyone know that, you know, from 26 days out, we've been doing, basically it's like a bodybuilding documentary. So I show everything, meal to meal. I show all my training sessions. I put my workouts in them. So I post a YouTube video every single day. So like today, right now, I actually have a little bit of footage from this itself, and
nice.
I show every single meal. So today's video, whatever I've done today, I post tomorrow. So, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, 1 video a day. So I'm documenting my entire preparation into the Chicago Pro and right into Vancouver. And you know what? Depending on how we do at those 2 shows, Tampa is there as well. So I'm not sure. I really enjoy shooting these documentary videos and showing everybody, you know, what I do going into the show. It actually motivates me, you know, being able to express what I do. So all the feedback is great, and I really I love it.
What is your YouTube channel?
So my YouTube channel is it's actually, so if you go on my Instagram, which is Regan G Bodybuilding, it's always going to be in the link in my bio. So the link in my bio, but my YouTube channel is youtube.com/Grimes Bodybuilding.
Grimes Bodybuilding. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've heard from a couple guys on the MD forum that say they watch everything you put out and they love it. They really appreciate that you share all this stuff with them, because most guys don't. Yeah,
you know what? It is a lot of extra work, but I don't know if anyone's doing it like this. No. I really, like I said, I enjoy doing it, and if nobody else is doing it and I'm doing it, it's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. So without telling every single detail of your peak week, because that's enough, that would take an hour, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, what are you doing this week in terms of training and with your carbs and your water, if I can ask?
So so I work with Chris Aceto. So basically, if you know Chris, he's on the fly. Like every morning, you know, I send him pictures, and things are different almost every day, which is really, really cool. I don't know if there's any other coaches out there that do that, and maybe it's an old school method, but the way he does things, I really do enjoy working with him. As far as up till now for peak week, my training split has been, it's a 3-day split, and I train on day 1 is chest in the morning, and I do shoulders at night. The second day I do back in the morning, and arms at night. Third day, I do quads in the morning and hamstrings at night. I repeat that, so 6 days straight, and I take the 7th day off. Okay. I've done that since about 6 weeks out.
Wow.
I've never done it before. It's worked really good, I think. I enjoyed being in the gym that much, and actually he had me do cardio sessions after each training session, which I've never done before either, because I've usually always done fasted cardio.
Right.
That always usually worked well for me, but because we had the 2 training sessions, I guess he didn't want to throw that in there. But yeah, that's.
Are you doing like the old school carb deplete and load, or no?
Yeah. So Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday will be my last workout into the Chicago Pro, and I think he actually, normally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if I was competing Saturday, I would do more of a depletion workout.
Yeah.
But Chris says, do not let off the gas. Train exactly like how you were 2 weeks ago. So again, that's different for me. Usually I really tone it down and I just kind of squeeze. But yeah, he's got me training more intense, and we'll see how that affects my look on stage. I think it might leave a fuller look, maybe, or we don't know.
Are you look at pictures of yourself from the Arnold Brazil, and you look in the mirror right now? What are the major differences that you see?
I would say deeper lines. I think I'm more conditioned through my hamstrings and quads. My chest has come up for sure, and arms. I think I brought 10 pounds. Just kind of
evenly distributed.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel there's anything you really need more improvement on in a large way than anything else, or do you think everything's pretty proportionate?
What's weird is I actually think my waist is smaller this year than it was last year.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How's that possible?
I put on my medium belt, and I wore it last year. It was fine. It's not even tight, wow. which is really weird. I don't know. It just, maybe that's just where the fat came off of earlier or something. But yeah.
Is that one of the Cardillo belts? You have one of those that says your name on it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We all got one.
We're the best.
Jose Raymond has about 100 of them, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I got one. It's good. They're great. They're great belts, though. You can't get better than that. I don't think. He
actually had one stolen in, I think it was Vancouver a year or two ago.
Really?
Seminar, yeah. It's okay. He's got like 100 more.
Yeah, he's good.
Somebody up in Canada is walking around with a Jose Raymond belt. Anyway. So you're sitting here eating your tilapia today.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious, what's the first thing you can't wait to eat when you're able to eat whatever you want?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Burger and fries. I love hamburgers.
Okay.
That's probably my favorite cheat meal. So,
any particular place?
Yeah, there's a spot in Canada. It's called The Works.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think they have in the States.
All these burger places are pretty regional. Even the States, they'd have stuff out west that we don't have out east and so forth.
Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of like crazy hamburger place. You can get peanut butter and banana on your hamburger.
Ooh.
You can get it's delicious. You got to try it. It's my favorite one.
Oh man.
So it's beef. It's banana, peanut butter, and I put ketchup on top of it. It's super good.
Okay. Before we wind it up, I'd want to give you the chance to thank the team, because it's an individual thing where you're the only one up on stage, but there's always people behind the scenes that make this possible for you. You should probably start first with your fiance.
Yeah, she's been for sure. Yeah, she's a huge supporter, and she just pushes me to do what I love and the sport. So yeah, okay. She's been great.
Who else? So they don't get mad at you.
Well, I mean, everyone at the gym. We have a big family there. It's really nice. Everybody pushes each other and motivates each other, and it's just a nice atmosphere to be around. My parents, they've supported me throughout this journey and continue to. They go to all my shows, and yeah, we just it's a team effort for sure.
I've known other gym owners and who compete and so forth, and a lot of them don't train at their own gyms because people keep coming up to them constantly, and it's just also you're there so much. Do you train? Do you do all your own training at FlexPlex?
I do. Yeah, yeah. Actually, you know what? In the last 2 years, I have not trained at another gym in London.
Wow.
The entire 2 years.
Well, you said all the other gyms up there suck anyway. So everybody go to Flexplex Muscle and Fitness when you're in London, Ontario, for sure.
Flexplex.
Okay. Well, I will wrap things up for you. You're got a show to go win, hopefully in a few days. So,
I'm sure.
your fans out there appreciate you doing this. I appreciate it, and I want to wish you very, very good luck at your pro debut in a few days. Hell of a physique. I think it's great for the sport to see that type of shape and proportion, and still with enough mass to. I think you're going to hang with just about anybody, especially. We were just talking. There's a thread called Regan where they're
Really?
talking about, yeah, they're always talking about you in a good way.
Yeah.
And I said, if this is what he looks like at 24, by the time you're 28, 29, 30, with all the mass you need and you've really refined it all, and assuming you keep your waist nice and small, which I think you will, yeah. Who knows? Yeah. The sky's the limit. We'll see.
Well, thank you.
I'll be watching.
Great, thank you.
For the Ronline Report, this has been Ron Harris with Canada's Regan Grimes making his pro debut Saturday at the Chicago Pro. Best of luck to him.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Let's see how long that was. 31 minutes. Perfect for today's people with no attention span. All right. Good stuff.